My name is Regina Posvar. I'm with Angels of the West Indies.
How long have you been in this job position?
I've been here since 2013, so that's when it's been here, since October of 2013.
That's pretty long. Thank you for that. So tell us briefly what your job entails.
Well, I typically go into the homes of clients that call and ask about memory challenges or cognitive challenges, and I go into the homes and I do assessments on where their surroundings, and then do cognitive testing there. And then I help the families find, or if they have a diagnosis, then I just will help with the level of cognition that they're at. If they don't have a diagnosis, then I will help the family go to their primary care physician or recommend one, whichever is the situation, to help them with a diagnosis and rule out any kind of conditions that might be causing the symptoms that they have. Otherwise, the levels of their condition, I help the families with care needs, help them set up routines, and all the care needs that might be available or come across, and help the family as a supporting them with that.
Very well. That's a lot. That's a tasking job, I think. So have you had any experiences with elder abuse in St. Lucia being in that job?
Yes, I have. Yes, yes.
So in your experience, what are the observations? What are the common types of abuse that you've experienced?
From what I experience with the elderly generation population, if they have any sort of disability at all, we have what I mostly see is neglect. I see mostly neglect. I do see, I don't see it, I hear and notice the signs and symptoms of physical abuse. And then there is exploitation, which I have walked into, come into to some families that was happening. So
When you say exploitation, what type of exploitation?
well, we're a caretaker, whether it be family or an outside person comes and manages to get the person to sign over most of their monies, and or yeah, sign over their monies or have them get out and take most of their monies. I've seen like 100 grand being taken from people's accounts and things like that.
Okay, that's an experience. Based on your observations, what are the most common forms of abuse with respect to older persons?
The most common one of neglect. This one is really something on an educational piece, because it's also unintentional neglect. We as a culture, there's many cultures besides here in St. Lucia, then we undervalue people who are older that have a little bit of a disability. We tend to treat them like a child. And this causes a lot of problems, a lot of friction with people when it comes to caretaking. Most people think that people with dementia or any kind of cognitive impairment, that they lose their intelligence. And this is not so. I mean, they still know that they're an adult. And if you take away all of their rights to choose, make decisions, basic decisions, you're going to anger them because they don't understand why you're doing this. First of all, they're forgetting. They're not aware that they're making mistakes, and if they are, they still don't want to be treated like a child. And so the mindset of the carers and the general population is to just do everything for them and not allow them to do as much as they can independently. And that's one of our challenges. And although it doesn't look so bad because we're cleaning them, we're making sure they're fed and keeping them safe. So those are the basic needs of what most people feel that person needs, but they don't realize that that's not a high quality of life. And not even for a child, you do more than that. You'd show them love, you'd respect them, and this is what they're lacking. So some basic human rights are missing in this area as well. There are some cultures that really value older people, and they honor them because they've lived a long life. They've had experiences, and they've paved the way for us who are here. And so they respect that with a special honor. Our busy lifestyles and some of the other cultures, we tend to be too busy to pay attention to them. Just as long as they're fed and as long as they have clothes and they're clean, they're fine. Just put them in a room and give them a TV, play cards with them once in a while, and they're good to go. No basic human needs of, compassion, friendship, intelligent conversations. And the people who have cognitive impairment, they need all of this, and so do generally older people. That's a fear. No one wants to get old and go into a nursing home because there's nothing there. You're just existing.
From your vantage point, what are the major challenges when it comes to dealing with or reducing the issue of elder abuse in St. Lucia?
Well, I think we have to educate ourselves and to or share education and recognize that we're going to get old someday too, and we're going to have the same feelings that we do now as when we're older, just like they do. So if we can make awareness of that, government level is just to help with the awareness of it and to have policies in place for people with, well, in my area, of course, with dementia care, which that hasn't happened, but I do understand that there's policies for elder care. I think I don't know where they are in that system, but there might be a breakdown in it, which might be in the area of follow through. And people in general are actually afraid to do reporting, so there has to be a better system on reporting. Some people don't want to be in the middle of things, but they see it. So you want to encourage those people that see it. And usually the health and medical field are usually the primary people that see a lot of it. And where I'm from, it was mandatory that we report it. Now you can be anonymous on record. You can be anonymous on record, but when you're doing the reporting, most of the action happens if you state that you're a teacher or you're in the medical field. Common people, friends and neighbors, they can be anonymous when they do the reporting, and this will help the system, track that down and go and investigate. And just because you report it doesn't necessarily mean the person is being abused. And the person who's being accused of being abused, sometimes it's unintentional and they need support. They could be burnout. Because it could be it could be a family member who is doing it all by themselves, alone, and don't realize that they're doing some abuse. And sometimes they do blow up. We all do, because we get frustrated. And that's an unintentional abuse. So that person actually needs support. That family member needs support. And same with professional carers too. Professional carers are put in positions where they're the only ones doing the care. And families don't understand that. Some families will hire just one carer to do 24-hour care. And that's total burnout. It's unhealthy for a family member to do it, let alone a professional to do it. So if a family member can't do it, a professional, just because you're paying them, doesn't mean they can do it.
That's true.
So there needs support on both sides.
Thank you, Ms. Posvar, for this informative interview. I trust that our viewers have been enlightened by it. With that said, please stay tuned to our next interview with Dr. Ferdinand Walcott of the Grosley Polyclinic, general practitioner, on her take with respect to elder abuse and neglect in St. Lucia.